Welcome to the first video in this series where I'm making videos working out every problem for the review sheet for Exam 3, Math 152. Make sure that you have the sheet available with you when you're watching these videos, because I'm not going to write out the entire problems. I'm assuming that you have access to this review sheet. In addition, let me say you'll get the most out of these problems if you try the problems first yourself before watching these videos. So without further ado, let me jump into solving the first problem. A student used the following exact words when asking a question. Quote, I see 1 over n as the general term in the question on series. Is this a case of convergence or a case of divergence? End quote. And the professor answered, quote, well, it depends on what you're asking. Are you talking about a sequence or a series with general term 1 over n? So the question here is, explain in a few words why the question of convergence, divergence, and a sequence with general term 1 over n is different than from the question of convergence, divergence, a series with general term 1 over n. So this is getting us to think about the difference between the limit as n goes to infinity of 1 over n versus looking at this sum here, the sum from 1 to infinity of 1 over n. So we know that this limit here is equal to 0. That's pretty easy to see. And so what the fact that this is equal to 0 tells us is that the sequence 1 over n, it converges, and it converges to 0. However, this series over here, this is the harmonic series, very famous series. The harmonic series, it diverges. It's a p-series. It's a p-series with p is equal to 1. And so we have these two differing behaviors here. So the sequence is, we're just looking at the individual terms here. 1, 1/2. So we're looking at the sequence 1, 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5. These are getting closer and closer to 0. It's converging to 0. When we're looking at the series over here, we're adding up all the terms. And so it's actually the sequence of partial sums, 1, 1 plus 1/2, 1 plus 1/2 plus 1/3, 1 plus 1/2 plus 1/3 plus 1/4. And so as n gets bigger and bigger and bigger, we're adding ever smaller quantities to it, but it does keep increasing without bound. The harmonic series does diverge. So a little comment here that just from, I've graded many workshops and stuff like that, if you ever write something like, because 1 over n diverges, this is somewhere between, inaccurate and flat out wrong. Because to me, when I just see 1 over n by itself, I'm thinking you're talking about the sequence here, whose terms are 1 over n. And so you don't want to write this as part of your explanation for why a series diverges. Let's say it's part of like the limit or direct comparison test. What you want to do is you want to make sure you stick in a series here to make sure that you're making it clear that you're talking about the harmonic series. You're just not talking about this term over this term by itself. So I really like this question being on here because this is a very, very, very common mistake in how Math 152 students talk.